Look, what we're doing, I mean, people might say, yeah, Brian, but you're a media company too. What makes you different from all the people you point the finger at? And so what I always try to say is that I think what we do and what you guys do, it's the art of listening. Like, honestly, I think we teach people, they're not going in a float chamber and listening to themselves. Okay, maybe they're not ready for that yet, but maybe they can actually just zip it and listen to someone else as another human and listen to their ideas for a while. And it might be at first some lady, and we had females at the premiere at BAFTA of Dorian's movie, and they went in thinking, I don't know anything about bodybuilding, I don't care, it's gross. And they come out saying, wow, I learned a lot from Dorian. So I think with what we're doing now, it's like, all right, take an hour, take 90 minutes. I know it's a lot of time. You can watch 40 different YouTube videos, or you can plug in and close your eyes or watch us and listen to new ideas and listen. And I think it gets you on this path of opening your mind, maybe trying some new things, and then maybe looking at yourself.
I personally love the long format interviews.
Yeah.
I like the Rogan style, 3 hours. I'll go for 3 hours,
Yeah.
Typically we keep it around 90 minutes. That works pretty well. Again, is that the best and most intelligent approach? Hard to say, because again, people's attention spans are so short. Sometimes you need this little popper, like 10-minute podcast you'll hear, like little tricks and tips, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
it's like you said earlier, delayed gratification.
Delayed gratification.
And it's a long game. Look, I think both of us were in this for the long game. And so like that means a lot, that means a lot. I was in Barcelona over the summer, and there's a guy that built the Sagrada Familia church, right? And when he started building it, he's like, this isn't gonna be done anywhere near when I'm alive. And he's like, I work on someone else's timetable. And he was talking about God. And so he was happy that when he was dead, it was going to be like 20% done. And I was like really inspired. Like, do you have goals that are way past your lifetime?
Bigger than you.
Yeah, way bigger. And
right.
so
I'm going to go on a limb and say that you don't have to be doing London Real. Like you said, you could go back into the banking if you wanted to.
Sure.
However, you find a much more rich experience. And I'm wondering, like, over the past 5 years of doing this, what keeps you going? What keeps you motivated and driven towards doing everything you got going on here in London?
For me, it's just been this crazy journey. I'm sure, like you guys, if I look back, every 6 months has been different, from starting in, I guess, October 2011 to like 6 months later when I guess we would have had 30 episodes. No, sorry, 6 months later, yeah, about 25 episodes, to Rogan a year later. I mean, that blew my mind, to be honest.
How much did that actually accelerate what you're doing?
Look, it blew my mind, and it was just like, wow. It was like this. I felt like we're on Earth, right? And they beam out those like radio signals to all these planets. And I know on our satellites we send out like a record of like all these languages, like one of the very first satellites they put out there. And it was like you're beaming out these signals to these alien beings, and then all of a sudden someone from like the Vega star system sent back a beam saying, we hear you. And like that's what it was like when Rogan like acknowledged us, because I was inspired by him. We were doing this thing, but like last thing we ever thought was he would ping back and say, oh, I recognize you guys, let alone why don't you come to my show? So for us, it was very surreal. It was still a huge honor, and it's been 5 years almost. That's crazy. But it was big. But I don't know if it accelerated anything, but it was big.
I had a similar experience, and we started this podcast in Vancouver, and there was this guy named Brian Rose, and and he invited anyone in the world to start a real podcast wherever they want to, and we did that, and we heard an initial message, and then we got some radio silence for a good year. And you talked about this a little bit in your TEDx talk, and I cite this quite often. Like you said to Rogan, you approached him and asking for tips and how to do a podcast, and he ignored you. Yeah. And yeah, you ignored us too. And I'll tell you what, it was a little bit tough and a little bit frustrating at times. I'm like, what's going on? This guy invited us to do a podcast, and he's ignoring us under his kind of brand or whatever. And we dealt with that for a while. But then all of a sudden, I'm not exactly sure what happened, but we turned a corner maybe in your mind. And the thing is, that whole time when you were ignoring us, we were sharpening our sword. We were getting better. Like the first episode of Vancouver Real, I don't think I said 2 sentences. I think Mike did most of the interview. He's a little bit more natural of a speaker than I am. And I was pretty quiet the entire time. But through the 5 and 10 and 15, we started getting up there, become more comfortable and more natural. In that time, it felt like we were sharpening our sword, getting ready for when Brian Rose says, all right, guys, your turn to come on London Real. And I really am grateful to you for paying it forward like this, because you had someone who is very successful, Joe Rogan, who gave you a chance, put you on the podcast, maybe helped what you were doing at London Real, and now you're doing the same for us. So I can't thank you enough for paying it forward to us that way.
Continue watching this fascinating conversation for free by clicking on the link below to visit our website, learn from the best minds in the world, and connect with a community of passionate people building the best versions of themselves. Just click on the link below, and I'll see you on the inside.